computer. That's why it doesn't say it's on live on Facebook yet, but hopefully it will. It might pop up and it might tell me that you cannot. What? Oh, that's no good, is it? Let's check that again. So live on Facebook. I might have to do that, right? Live on Facebook. Oh, well, good afternoon. I'm going to try and multitask at the same time. So, good afternoon. Welcome to the Monday afternoon, the frequently asked questions. This is when I put one of the members. Is it on Facebook, Kim? No. This is where I put one of the members on the spotlight, and I ask those frequently asked questions. I can't find my own group now. Networking group. Go live. Let's see what happens. Okay. So fingers crossed it will go live into the group now as well. Yes, it's going live. Louis Young is here as well. So, this afternoon, I have the actual pleasure of having Vicky Moore, the Queen of Chocolate, okay? Absolutely, the Queen of Chocolate. So, Vicky and we go back a long way, don't we, Vicky?
We do indeed.
One of the
12 years.
Yeah, one of the lucky people to have actually been to my. How do you describe my factory, Vicky?
Clean, tidy, efficient, and a happy place.
It was all those things, but it was lacking facilities like windows and heating and toilets. Okay.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shed.
It was a bit of a large shed. Yeah. So Vicky supplied chocolate to my other business, and now Vicky supplies chocolate to Zuko.
Hey.
Nice little pile of chocolates here. So it's an absolute pleasure to welcome you, Vicky. And when you weren't part of my last year or so networking.
I wasn't. No.
We met 11, 12 years ago. I hunted you down on LinkedIn. I said yes. We haven't got anyone like you, Vicky. We've got to get you on board. I emailed you, and so first of all, are you enjoying your Zuko experience?
I'm absolutely loving it. And the main reason is because you are so energetic, which is your energy is infectious. And I just think it rubs off on people, and it's just getting a wider audience in. And that is what we are all looking for, is to, get our feelers out a little bit further. So I think it's your leadership, Nick, that is really encouraging people to stay. I think.
Yeah, it's all the chocolate, obviously, it's all the chocolate.
And the chocolate,
yeah. But I mean, for you though, perfect. Or let somebody else in. For you, you're looking for small businesses. I mean, your orders, we'll come to all about chocolate in a minute. So, Vicky, it's an absolute pleasure. And I said you came to last Wednesday. You enjoyed our meeting. So, why and when did you start your business?
So I started my chocolate business 13 years ago. I gave up my big sort of corporate career, as it were, like many of us have. I'm a management accountant by background, and I got married and I had my daughter, and I thought, I don't want to be doing this big corporate thing anymore. I actually want to be a really good mum, or that was my hope. And so I thought, well, actually, I still like to continue to work. I still need to work. And that's when I started my business.
Okay, was that it? And why all about the wrapper?
Chocolate. I love chocolate. And I actually openly admit I bought the business in a box.
Right.
So I went to a show at Olympia when my daughter was 4 months old, I think. And there were lots of things on display and on offer. There was sort of environmentally friendly businesses. There were franchises. So this isn't a franchise. I literally paid a one-off fee. The idea, I got the software with it, a guillotine and a box of chocolate. And that was quite simply it. But it seemed that it was very much targeting mums at the school gates to sort of run a small business. Mm-hmm. And we had pre-printed wrappers that the customer could choose what they wanted. And I couldn't see how that was actually going to make any mileage and earn me any money. So that's when I sort of very much stepped aside, created my own brand, my own company name, logo, etc. It's not a franchise, so I have no financial commitments. I stepped away from this company. And here I am today, 13 years on. Completely independent.
Yeah, and we met 11, 12 years ago networking. So early on in your networking journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I've been networking now for most of those 13 years. Had my second child 11 years ago, and that's when I met you. When I was pregnant, I used to come to BNI Putney. That was my excuse for not joining BNI because I was pregnant and had a toddler at home. And yeah, I've just gone. And then I joined Athena in central London for 2 years. And then I moved down to Godalming.
Mm-hmm.
which is where I am now.
You will need to dig out, because you have done chocolates in my previous company. So you'll need to dig out and make some out-made chocolate for me, okay? Okay. I say, I remember with the small bars with the circle. I remember it quite well.
Yeah, it was a circle. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you have to dig out some of those.
I will send it to you.
But as I said, no, I mean, so yeah, I mean the chocolate. We will talk about the chocolate. They're amazing. And there's such. It's. I mean, Tim's obviously in promotional merchandise. It's the power of the merchandise, the power of the social media. I mean, my chocolate is great. So you can see the QR code behind me that way. I put the QR code on the back of my chocolate, and the QR code is all my links. Okay, so use your smartphone. It's brilliant. Okay, I love the chocolate.
Yeah, the design is completely bespoke, so my customer can choose exactly what they want. And you are actually my first customer that's had the QR code on the back.
Really?
Yeah, so I suggest to my customers on the back, they put contact details, quite importantly, a strap line if they have one, but the most important is the call to action.
Yeah.
And of course on yours, it explains what Zuko is.
Exactly. Well, that was kind of your idea, so I appreciate that.
It was my idea, but you know.
Yeah, but as I said, I mean, so on I believe on iPhones, on iOS, you just point the camera at the QR
and it works.
code and it takes you straight to the link.
And you won't be surprised to know that I tested it before I printed all 300 of them.
And you won't be surprised to know that I tested it also, obviously. Well. Okay. So what does your customer journey look like?
So my customer has, via my website, two options. One is to go the bespoke route, whereby everything is designed. The whole wrapper is from scratch. So it could be a logo, it could be a photo, it could be some image they've had created for their wedding, perhaps. And then I will design the whole wrapper from a blank sheet. Or they can go the pre-designed route. So they'll go onto my website and they'll click on a category. And that category could be Christmas, Easter, adult birthday, kid's birthday, thank you. Then they go and click on the size of the bar, because I do two sizes of bar, a 40-gram bar and a 10-gram bar. Then it takes them to all the pre-designed wrappers that I have. So that's if they want to do something, but not quite sure what they want. And actually they just want a wrapper there, and they can choose the one they like. And then the form on my website, they then put what they want on the front of the wrapper and the back. And then I just add the words and I send it for them to review.
Happy birthday, Mike. Happy birthday,
exactly
Ben.
Right. So that's the pre-designed route. And in honesty, that's probably 5% of my business. It's much smaller size. But when I had my website redesigned about a year and a half ago, the question was, do I want that pre-designed route? Well, yes, I do actually, because I still do have customers that want that, and they want, they want something, but they don't actually want something completely bespoke.
I think clearly the success, one of the reasons your success, your business, I mean, I understand business. I love understanding businesses, and it's simple. It's the simplicity of your business. You offer two sides of the bars. Okay. You got then and the wrappers and the big, the templates or the bespoke. So you keep it simple. What I still blows my mind, and I say every single time, and we'll say it again, okay, so please forgive me if I'll keep repeating myself, but so Vicky prints them all herself and wraps them all herself, okay? I mean, you must be, so how many are you wrapping per week?
Well, it depends. It could be anything from, 1,000 a week or 100 a week. It could go over that, I guess, but generally that's the ballpark area. And yes, it is time consuming, but I tip top on customer quality.
And why have we not seen you do a Facebook Live doing wrapping some chocolate then?
Because I don't necessarily. I suppose I should really. I could do it for you now, but I would have. I haven't got any wrappers here, so I printed off an A4 sheet. And if it's the larger size bar, which is the wonderful Zuko bar, it will come off on an A4 sheet with two wrappers. And if it's the smaller, very appropriate NHS thank you, there will be 4. And then I have a guillotine, or it's actually a slide cutter, and I will cut them. And obviously I do it in groups, so I'm not doing one by one by one. And then I'll have a pile of wrappers sitting there. And then I set out all my chocolate and I will just wrap, usually watching the television in the evening, perhaps with a glass of wine, perhaps not. And that is actually how it's done. So I tend to do that bit in the evening because that's a bit mindless. But obviously during the day, I do all my customer interaction and my printing and my designing and all the rest of it. I don't think these have been wrapped with a glass of wine inside.
Oh, you'll be surprised. Absolutely spot on purpose.
Well, they are spot on. Thank you. And if I fold it down and it's not right, it will be flicked up again and put down again because it has to be 100% right. And not so long ago, I received a chocolate bar from another company that was not mine. I was appalled with the quality of the chocolate was fine. The wrapping was awful. The printing was skew with. It wasn't put straight. And I would pride myself in that none of my customers would receive something looking like that.
Okay, I mean, as I said, I'm not going to bring Tim in this moment. Obviously, Tim does.
But you can do, because merchandising is what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, branded merchandise. I mean, the power, as I said before. I mean, I bought these chocolates because obviously I wanted to reward my customers for signing up. We had a mask made, we had chocolate made, pen made, card. I wanted to thank. Exactly. Is it perfect?
You mean like all of this stuff?
Exactly, all this stuff you can't get rid of.
Stuff.
Yeah, but so I wanted to reward the clients, you, okay, for joining. But I mean, the power, the amount of social media coverage I've had from these chocolates has been astonishing. Okay,
yeah.
All right. So how do you market your business?
So I don't advertise. I am active on social media, as you know, and I make sure on my website that my blogs are appropriately written to be picked up through Google searches. And I send newsletters quite regularly. I say quite regularly, once every probably 4 to 5 weeks, to my database, which has over 1,000 subscribers I've grown over the years. So that is my main way of marketing. I will also do partnerships with companies sometimes. Or, for example, at Christmas, I teamed up with Vantage Point magazine, which is local to here, and I provided the chocolates for free. They put an editorial in for me, and so I quite often do the reciprocal deal with various organisations just to get my name out there.
And the largest order you've ever done?
About 3,000, a couple of times for a company called Viapath, who are into basically pathology, and they wanted to reward all of their customers for getting to a certain number of milestone achievements. I can't remember what it was, and it went out to various locations, and they did it twice, just to reward all their customers in different locations.
Was that a big bar or a small bar?
Big bar.
The big bar, 3,000 big bar. Crikey.
Yeah. So 3,000 in Timmerswell, it isn't big.
Yeah, no.
But once a customer wants to go above that, they'll go possibly to a more automated manufacturer and potentially get them for half the price. But if they want anything below 3,000 bars, you won't get a factory.
No. And that is great. Okay, because you don't have a minimum quantity as such, do you?
It's nothing significant. This size is 20 bars and this size 40 bars. So no.
That is amazing. And so I mean, your typical customer is a small business looking to reward their customers just to do something.
It's a small to medium-sized business. I have worked with some of the big brands before, but you'd never see those on my website because, of course, they don't allow me to take photos and share them. But a typical customer for me would be a small to medium-sized business that likes to reward their customers, either because they send product to their customers and they also like to slip a chocolate bar in with the delivery, which actually in the grand scheme of things is a small price to pay to be remembered as that company that always sends me a chocolate bar. So it's really the repeat orders for people who care about their customers or their clients. So another really good customer of mine is Sunrise Care Homes. They use them to put bars in with all their marketing literature that they send out to new potential families and to do door drops, and they regularly order. And then I have quite a few sort of beauty customers that put chocolate bars in with all their care bags after treatment. I've got a couple of baby companies as well that again put chocolate in either hampers or just a little treat that goes out with every single order. So I have a big handful of repeat orders that I can always guarantee will just keep coming and keep me going. And of course there is the amazing Get Ahead VA. Every single one of Rebecca Newnham's franchisees, when they started, had a box of 40 chocolates. So these lovely black boxes that I do have 40 chocolates in, and Rebecca kindly sent or I sent a box to each of them, and they could do exactly what they wanted with them, just to do marketing of their own. Isn't that right, Louise?
Yes, and they are very brilliant, and we're a big fan. So they're obviously going to be a repeat order for years to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it's just people get, so the Sunrise example, I saw Joanna on my way to Wimbledon on Friday. I popped into the Sunrise care home in Oxshott on the way up the A3, hand delivered them to Joanna, and she said these are just so perfect. So a family would go to potentially 4 or 5 care homes to look into which is the right one for their parent or their relative, but they remember Sunrise because, oh, you're the company that sent us the chocolate.
And it's such an inexpensive way of getting. Absolutely. Is it only? I know I can't remember the. Is it only milk chocolate? Or do you?
I do milk chocolate. I do have one company that does like the dark mint, but I can only get them in minimum volumes of 1,000 now. My smaller bar supplier is becoming harder to work with. They're less amenable than they used to be. But yeah, as you said at the beginning, I keep it simple. When I started my own business, my key aims were to keep it simple, which is why I only offer two slices of chocolate, which is why I only offer milk. And one of my things was I don't want any staff and I don't want any premises. I just want to keep it small. And in fact, someone recently said to me, why don't you expand? Well, do you know, I don't want to invest in machinery. And I just want the flexibility to put the business down if I need to, and pick it up when I need to. As it happens, when I'm on holiday, I'm even working, but that's just the way it is.
Well, perfect. I mean, I love those Gordon Ramsay restaurant nightmares, and every single episode, he starts off by saying your menu's too big, you're offering too many things,
and too many plates. He doesn't like too much crockery,
and you're not getting enough things right. So pare it right down and do the few things perfectly well. Exactly what you've done. You mentioned you showed the NHS. I believe is the anniversary today. How old are we today?
It's their 73rd birthday today, and the Queen has awarded them the George Cross. So this lot were done. I think I did 400 bars for a guy up in the Midlands somewhere because he wanted today to be handing them out. I think it was his daughter at school, just to say thank you. And I think it wasn't anything special other than he passionately wanted to thank the NHS and used his daughter to do it. I think it was just a bar for everyone at the school. I don't know, but I only ask my customers so many questions to find out what they're doing with it. I don't know if you do ever, Tim, but I like to know what they're using the product for, because that really helps with my marketing and my engagement with them on social media. But sometimes you can only be so nosy.
What's this? I don't know. Strangest business you've done chocolate bars for? I'm not quite sure.
Done a few hen weekends of interesting photographs. I've done one for a strip club in London. That was probably my.
I think Tim and I got that when we went, didn't? Oh, no. So that's interesting. Okay, so what social media do you use, and does it work?
Yeah, so I use only three, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. So I joined Twitter about 11 years ago. And probably, I've been on LinkedIn for years, but I really upped that in the last year with the pandemic. And I probably joined Instagram about 4 years ago. And I consistently try to post every day on all three, but the wording is slightly tailored and different because Twitter's got less characters and the audience is obviously different. And I always use a visual photo. And then I try to interject it with a bit of personal stuff, just to show what I'm like as a person as well.
And do you have a hashtag you always use, or?
It's hashtag. It's all about the rapper.
It's all about the rapper. Okay.
Yeah. That's my go-to and my chocolate bar emoji, obviously.
Of course, yeah. Why do you think networking is so important, and how amazing is Zuko?
Networking is important because people buy people, or people buy from people. And I think if you know the character behind the business, a lot of businesses are much more compelled to buy from you. So I just believe in personal relationships. I enjoy that as well. That's really, really important to me, which is why many aspects in the last year, although I think we're all a bit tired sometimes from networking on the screen, it's got me out to a much bigger audience. It is so powerful. So I'm a member of a couple of networking groups, but of course I'd put Zuko at the top of that list. But I just enjoy people. I love people, and everyone's zest for life. So I like lively people, and that's why I love you.
And Zuko's full of them.
Right.
I've not seen any. I've not seen any of your own wrapper, your own chocolate bars. Have you done your own?
I do all the time. And do I have one here? No, because when I send every product that I send out, I will send it. I haven't got it at the moment. There's a blue organza bag with a chocolate in it and my business card, and that's just a nice way. So it's it's in there with its bag and in the chocolate, and and with my little message on the back.
They went very, very quickly.
And then and when I'm doing special offers, I'll always, or particularly Christmas, I'll actually send the bigger bar with the person's name on it and wish them happy Christmas and just a bit of the personal touch.
And presumably you do weddings, engagement parties, baby things. I
love doing weddings because the bigger bar, you can put individual names on each one. So place names at weddings are great. So my sell on that one is very much, you kill two birds with one stone. You're not thinking about the table name and some poor person that has to handwrite everything and the favour. The whole thing is in one. And quite often with my brides and grooms, they might have had a caricature drawn or something special, some entwined letters or something that's gone on to their invitation, and they use that on the invitations, the menus, and then the chocolate bars as well. So it's all a nice sort of, just all matches, which is great.
So 100 different bars, each with a person's name on it, individually. Yeah.
And in fact, I did an order about a month ago for the Samaritans in Guildford, and each Samaritan is known by their first name, which might or might not be their name, and a number. And every single one had a name and a number on it. And that's so I charge extra for that. I charge 35p for that pleasure, just to have the name on it as well, because it takes a little bit more time and a little bit more checking. But so you could do it for a wedding, any sit down event, or as the Samaritans did, just handed them out to each individual volunteer.
And I mean, do you love chocolate? How do you
I adore chocolate. So when I'm wrapping chocolate, I'm also eating it, but dare I say, I'm actually eating dark chocolate. Just makes me feel better. I'm eating chocolate, not too much of it, but I love it.
Okay, so I mean, are you busy at the moment? You got lots. I mean, how many orders do you have on at any one time?
I'm generally juggling. I don't know. It could be between 2 and 7 or 8 at one time. At the moment, I've just sent out a big order to my customer in Nottinghamshire called Just for Tummies, and she puts a branded bar in with each delivery. I'm just doing one for our local school here. They're actually it's a church school, and it's the church giving a chocolate bar to all the 60 children as they leave year 6. And I'm just about to send out an order for the Guildford Nursery School, just from the head teacher. She wants to thank all of her teachers at the end of term. So those are the 3. I'm just thinking what else I've got. So those are the 3 ones I have at the moment.
Do you mind talking money online, or you're not funny about money, are you?
No.
So remind me, okay. So these bars, say 100 of them. How much would 100 bars of this size cost?
I have to admit, my prices went up on the 1st of July for the first time in years and years. So £1.55 per bar for 100 of that size, and that weight. So I do weight. My postage is by weight. So up to 2 kilograms, I send by Royal Mail. And that's £3.95 delivery. And once it goes over 2 kilos, it's £5.95 delivery. Although even below 2 kilos, dare I say it, the post office are going to lose out, because you can send it for less with my Hermes now. If you go and do it through one of the drop-off boxes, you can do it for less than a post office price. So for that, you're talking about £160.
What? So who is your ideal customer? Oh, I think I know, but who's your ideal customer?
Well, it would be it's the repeat customer that likes to look after their customer or their client. So a good one actually is estate agents. Particularly good, because there's some cash there. They like to look after their clients, and they like to get the word out that they are the preferred estate agent. So I met someone the other day, Hawks, I can't remember the rest of it, Hawks Bank or something, in the Esher area, high end, and like to look after their clients. So that's a perfect customer for me, that is regular, that they treat every single vendor.
I know that I'd won chocolate bar that in that hot spell we had recently, I didn't have a pleasant journey in the post to my client. Okay.
Okay.
A tiny bit melty. Right. I mean, how are you keeping the chocolate in your house? Do you have a special
I keep
chocolate
it
fridge?
in a big plastic. No, not in the fridge. Never in the fridge. A big plastic box, 2 big plastic boxes under our stairs, so it's in the cool and in the dark, and completely sealed.
And you cook with chocolate? Are you a chocolate cooker?
Yes, if I was doing a chocolate pudding, but yeah, I like any
And
type of
your vision, well, I mean, presumably your vision for the business is to kind of grow and carry on as you go.
Yeah,
going,
it's to grow year on year.
Yeah.
Is my main one. And I pay myself a salary every month. And so yeah, just continue to earn money, be happy, keep my customers happy, and work around my kids. That is a top priority for me, because anyone who knows me will know that we're quite a sporty family, and I spend my life in swimming pools.
Yes, well, I mean, like Raisa, she started the Thermomix because she wanted to do something other than being a mother, because she realized one day the children would, and it sounds like a similar story. So you've done 13 years, you said, is that right?
Yep, 13 and a half now, yeah. I started 1st of April, 2008.
Mm-hmm. And the pandemic, it hasn't really affected you too badly, has it?
The opposite, I have to say. Mm-hmm. So when this happened 16 months ago, everything I supply, similar to Tim, is for some type of event. It could be a trade show, corporate event, wedding, birthday party, whatever it might be. Bar mitzvah. I do a lot of bar mitzvahs, actually. Haven't mentioned that yet. And I thought, this isn't so great. And none of us knew where this pandemic was going. So as with most of us, we had to be quite sensitive with our marketing, because a lot of people were going through a really hard time, either medically, their family, cash. But I thought, I'm not going to let my, at the time, 12-year-old business fade away. So I changed my marketing message quite quickly. So obviously events weren't happening. So I changed it very much to keep in touch. So that was either keep in touch with your customers or keep in touch with your family. And then that evolved into thank yous, whether it's thanking your neighbor or, I did one box not so long ago for someone I met through networking whose uncle had passed away. And it was just a box that went to the hospital in Winchester to thank them. So I had to be quite sensitive with my marketing. And actually, because the pandemic started just before Easter last year, I then lowered my minimum volumes to allow people to send Easter gifts that actually, I reduced my minimum volume of, this size down to 12 bars, which is nothing. Did I make much money? Not really. Did I stand in the post office queue for hours? Yes, I did. But I looked after my customers during that time. Yeah. And so, yes, actually, I've had my best year yet.
Wonderful. Well, pick up that black box again. When you think about, as you said, you mentioned someone dying. They thank you. They said you could go to Mark Spencer or whatever and get a box of heroes or whatever, or you could spend a bit of time and effort and do something like that.
Yeah. So when that customer came to me and said what they wanted to do, I then went and found some lovely sort of quite modern flower pre-designed wrappers. So if you go and look thank you on my website, there's about 5 or 6 flowery ones that you can go and choose. It's just quite sensitive, and it's like thank you on the front and from the family on the back, and then that could sit on the desk in the matron's room or wherever in the hospital, and just I've lost all track of time. It's over 28 minutes past now, so we've got any time for questions. So does anyone have any? Let's go to the grid view so we can get back here. Thank you, Joyce and Teresa from Texas. So any questions, anybody? Oh, Louise first.
I've always got something to ask. So no, I was just going to say, and I think in a way you've answered this already, but I was going to say, have you not considered franchising out your business? I know you want to keep it simple, but have you ever thought about franchising it in any case?
I haven't, because in the early days, there were lots of us.
Right.
So I believe in the region of 300 people bought this business. I haven't spent loads of time looking to see who's still out there, but I'm aware of 2 or 3. So I guess the idea is out there already. And so the answer to your question is no, I haven't. But of course, that could be an option.
Because I could just see it operating really well as a sort of off-the-shelf business model for exactly that. The sort of mums at the school gates who are looking for that little bit extra, something else they can do. I just think it's a nice idea.
Absolutely. And if the franchise was marketed well and executed well, which when I bought the business wasn't executed well.
Yeah, that's the key.
Okay, yeah. Teresa, did you have a question?
Yes, I don't know if you mentioned it before, but who's your provider for chocolate?
So I have 2 different suppliers, both based in the UK. One for my smaller bar is a company in Dorset on the south coast in the UK, and they're a very reputable chocolate manufacturer. They're called the House of Dorchester, and they're owned by a bigger company called Chabanel and Walker. And it was actually Tim, when Chabanel and Walker took over the House of Dorchester, they became a lot more rigorous and less less amenable. And then my bigger size bar comes from a lovely chocolate company in the Midlands called Chocolate Solutions. And they are, if I ordered 500 bars, 1,000 bars today, I'd have them by the end of the week. I mean, they're fantastic. The House of Dorchester, 3 weeks, regardless. And then you find that what I received actually was made 2 months ago. And they could have dispatched it the next day, but they know they will go 3 weeks. And it will go with no less time. So I have I have good relationships with both of them, and I nurture those relationships, because without them, I'm in all sorts of trouble.
How many times have you changed suppliers over the 13 years?
I haven't.
Oh, really?
I haven't. No.
Oh,
no.
wow.
Yeah. So obviously, another thing I was praying for during the pandemic was they didn't go under.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You mentioned that it's only milk chocolate, right?
It is. So both of them do dark chocolate as well. It's just that, so I have to buy the bigger bar in boxes of 100 and the smaller bar in boxes of 250, but the minimum I can order from the small bar is 2,000 each time. So I'd have to order, and they're saying it's 1,000 for the mint is the minimum they'll give me. So I have minimum orders I can get from them. So chocolate, as you know, ages, and I don't like to sell it to my customer at less than 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna end this call in a second by eating some chocolate. Okay, it would seem wrong if I didn't, wouldn't it? Okay, so I have chocolate here.
Very wrong.
Oh, it's delicious.
It is delicious. Yes.
So melts in your mouth, absolutely delicious. We have Justin, I have got into the habit. We have one bar or so a week, so which is not ideal, but
a week is fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we share a bar as well. We're so, honestly, such discipline.
Lovely.
I know. Right, so that has been lovely. Thank you so much, Vicky. I really, really appreciate it.
I love this. I've just had a message that's just come across my screen saying, I've heard about your chocolates. They're lovely. It's an email from someone. I like emails like that.
Of course you do. Lovely. Right, okay, let me stop the recording.
Thank you, Nick.
No, pleasure. It's been an absolute, and thank you for your support. Thank you for your love on social media with Zuko. I'm loving what we're doing here, but I really appreciate, the social media posts, the liking, the sharing, the loving. We're all here to run a business, to help each other. I really, really, really appreciate it. So thank you, okay?
I loved it on Wednesday when you said, why like a social media post when you can love it?
Absolutely. Why? I mean, it's so insipid. It's such an insipid emotion, isn't it? Right, good. Thank you. I'm going to stop the live stream there on the Facebook group. That's that done. I'm now going to stop recording.